Welcome back to the Patient First Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bryan Laskin, where, of course, I'm your host, Dr. Bryan Laskin, where, of course, I'm looking to increase the influence of today's engaged dentists. And today, we are discussing technology that has the potential for at least a 10x ROI. These are easy wins that absolutely every single dental practice should start doing today. Today. There's no reason not to incorporate each one of these that I'm talking about today, other than if you say you're too busy. And in today's world, I firmly believe that busy is the new stupid. What do I mean by that? And I love saying this all the time because I feel sometimes I'm being too busy. Look, information is easy to find today. Go on Google, go on Amazon, go on YouTube. Heck, this entire recording studio that I'm in today, presenting this to you, was put together by a combination of YouTube, Amazon, and a lot of time, right? And time is important. And if I was too busy, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Everyone has access to YouTube, Amazon, and Google, but you need the time to slow down so you can go faster and so you can put things together. Frankly, I tried to hire somebody to put the studio together, but I couldn't find the right person. And I know plenty of professionals in this space, but it was my vision that needed to be executed on. So I needed to have the right space to do it. And it required almost zero intelligence. All it took was some free information and the time to put it all together. So busy is the new stupid because a lack of time is the new excuse not to get things done, right? So the information that you're getting today, every single one of these should be put to use in your practice if you haven't already, right? The only excuse that you have on to act is that you don't have time. And as Arnold Schwarzenegger said, you can have results or excuses, but not both. So after listening to this today, if you haven't incorporated these technologies, I think it's an excuse because you're not looking for the results, right? And I'm going to go over some technologies that I think are true no-brainer ROIs that you should implement immediately, right? So what are they? Well, I'm not even going to go over the obvious ones other than just to list them here. So digital x-rays, digital charts, intraoral cameras, and a recall system, okay? Those four, they're obvious that everyone should already have. If you don't already have those, you've been too busy for way too long. Just pause this and go out and do that. Digital x-rays, if you're using film, I don't know I don't even know what to tell you. Hang up your handpiece because there's no reason not to use digital x-rays at all. If you disagree with me, comment below, but there's no reason. Nobody's going to convince me one thing about film x-rays that's better than digital x-rays. Same thing with digital charts. Intraoral cameras are a necessity in today's marketplace, as well as a recall system. Unless you really hate the people that work in your business team, get a recall system too, right? So if you don't have these, in my opinion, you are so far behind that you're likely not listening to a podcast right now. So I just listed them off. So let's move on to the items that you may actually need to address in your practice that you haven't implemented that you should or you should be updating soon. And when it comes to updating, for a lot of people listening today, it is your website. So let's talk about your website. Most dental practices, I believe strongly, could at least double their new patients if they had the right website. Doubling your new patients by having the right website. Why? Well, think about it. We all have known who have taken training in dentistry that a bottleneck oftentimes for new patients is when they call your practice and somebody doesn't handle that phone call well. Huge industries have been made out of helping dental practices answer the phone effectively, right? If you haven't done that, that's a big deal. Get consulting, have somebody help you answer the phone correctly to convert new patients. But your website is the new telephone. If your website isn't set up correctly, you're not converting new patients. And frankly, most people's websites are far off the mark. What makes a good website? Number one, it should respond to mobile devices for sure, and different devices that people are on. It's called a responsive website. But if your website doesn't look good on mobile, it doesn't look good for over half the people that are looking at it. So make sure that your website looks great on every mobile device. So have you visited your website on a phone? Is it usable? Make sure that it is. Also, you should have all of your technology that patients expect to have today on your website. Have you ever gone to a new restaurant and seen that you can't order online? I don't know about you, but I usually jump and go to a different restaurant, and your new patients are doing the exact same thing. So on your website, you should have all of your new patient forms, not to download some PDF, but you should have your forms there for people to fill out online. It is basically free. Cheap, 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 cheap to do that today. New patient forms on your website. People should be able to make a payment directly from your website. Why wouldn't you want people to be able to pay you conveniently? It should be a big button on your website. And also, you should have the ability for people to request an appointment directly from your website too. So the four big things that you want to have is a mobile friendly website where people can fill out their new patient information, make a payment, and request an appointment directly from your website. If you don't have that today, get it done tomorrow. And I'll show you how very easily in a little bit. So the next item that I would say has at least a 10x ROI potential for your practice is easy, convenient payments. Like I said before, why wouldn't we want to make it easy for people to pay us? Because usually what's convenient gets paid. So text to pay, being able to text people their bill, email to pay, and again, having it directly on your website is vitally important today. It's a huge patient convenience, and frankly, it's a huge team convenience. It has massive ROI and makes it so much easier for you to do collections. I like to tell people to have Collections Friday, where you can go in, just look at your AR and just send out a mass email or mass text to the patients that are overdue. And then you can just sit back over the weekend and watch the payments come in. It's a great way to handle receivables. So making payments easy is our second technology that everybody should be doing today. Next up and last on the 10x ROI is virtual consultation forms. So having a way for patients to be able to submit cosmetic questionnaires, requested dental emergency, or about dental implants, TMD, and virtual consultations about whatever cosmetic need they might want is important today. And it's almost free. It makes it so that you can bring in patients that might not have been in the dentist for 20 years. They could submit a form online and then have somebody reach back out to them and make it easy for them to come in and get the consultation in your office by having a safe, easy first step for them to submit their information to your practice prior to you meeting them. And I took all of these three things together because it's really what we've been focusing on. Our new platform that we're just launching at the Chicago Midwinter in February, called Tooth Apps, where you can get a website with everything I talked about online, ridiculously cheap for less than $100 a month. You can get everything I described. So you can get it all done easily right now. Just head over to toothapps.com and you can get your website with your patient information, your billing, requesting appointments. We make it super easy. And I think that it is the kind of thing, if you have it handled, but make sure that you have these handled right away. There's no reason not to have a responsive website that looks great on your phone, that people can make payments from and request information directly from your website. It's key today. People are expecting it, and I think there's absolutely no downside other than needing to take the time to implement it. So go to toothapps.com and get started. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next week in another Patient First podcast.